Hello, Viewports today. Just an hour and a half or something like that just to finish up the Skyhawk just before we can do our test flight tomorrow or Sunday. So yeah, Viewports. And that means just setting some basic numbers. I think, not quite sure actually how much work it's actually going to take. We'll have to see. Let me just bring up PlaneMaker here and just show you. Where is it? Viewports. Viewpoint. I thought it was called Viewport, but that's a Blender term, I guess. That's what you get when already studying Blender. Viewpoints, that's what I mean. And as the name suggests, we can set our viewpoint in the cockpit and stuff, which is not that relevant. We can also set some airspeeds, as you can see here, that we can, I guess, just get out of the manual, get from the manual. So that's quite basic. We can set, well, if we want to, perhaps we can do this just while we do our test flight or just before we do our test flight. Set some camera angles, and also here for interior lights, exterior lights. This is all for the 3D cockpit. Dartboards, I've looked into whether we need to set a boarding door, because I guess that could be also the cabin door, but that's not the case. So we don't have a boarding door, and we don't need to set any of this. At least also with fueling trucks and stuff, that's something that we do. That is not something that we do with a small GA aircraft usually. So that's not what we're going to set. Bouncers, I'm not quite sure what those mean, so we need to look into this just a bit more. I believe this has to do with just objects that can freely float around or move around in the cockpit, outside of the cockpit. So I'm not quite sure how we could use this actually, because we cannot really set a particular data ref or some kind of a object to it. So not quite sure what this section is about. Sliders is also something that we don't need. This, I think this is also primarily for the 2D cockpit. I'm just gonna make, that's the second thing that we're gonna do next to this viewpoint section, is also make a 2D cockpit, but not a fancy one, because obviously we're not gonna fly a 2D cockpit. But for the test flight, because we don't have any cockpit, I think it makes sense and it's quite helpful if we also have a starter switch and a mixer and a throttle. We can also bring up some numbers in terms of data refs while we are flying, and those also output, I guess, throttle settings and mixer settings. But I guess it's also handy if we have some instruments here to refer to. So that's also something that I'm doing. And then I think I'm done. We can just run through all of these sections to make sure that we did most of that PlaneMaker stuff. And then we're going to do a test flight, and we need to revisit many of those menus to further optimize our Skyhawk. So that's the idea for today. Also, meanwhile, I've looked at my video that I made for my local airport 172 SP, and it takes 7 seconds to extend the flaps and 9 seconds to retract those flaps from fully extended to up. So that's something that we can set as well in the control geometry menu. All right, let's get to it. Viewpoints. Yeah, so I guess we just need a basic manual here. I guess just the POH. There's so many manuals now that I lose track of where I'm finding this stuff. I guess we could just search for something like this. Yeah. We don't need the actual model to be displayed. VSO. Yes, I know what it means, but is there also a list that shows us what the actual number is? At gross weight are for airspeed indicator markings only, are not used in the flight model. Oh. Okay, so these are not relevant at all. Yeah, I guess so, because that's the whole airfoil maker thing. And hey, bud, good to see you. Yeah, so this again is only for viewpoints, I guess. Okay, well, it doesn't matter at all. We're going to set those either way. We'll use the speed as a reference for estimating minimum aircraft flight speed, so be sure to set this number accurately. The autopilot, though, will use the speed as a reference for estimating minimum aircraft flight speed. Okay. Okay. Well, that's with full flaps extended, so that's 40. 40. And VS, lower limit is maximum weight. VS1 at most 4 CG with flaps retracted armor limit. Okay, so that's 4D8. This is in knots. Okay, and then we got VFE. Maximum flap extended speed. That's interesting. I think that's the wide arc. Upper limit is maximum prism with flaps extended. Exactly. 85. We've got M and 1. This is the maximum allowable speed for fully extended flaps. These numbers are for airspeed indicator marks only and are not used in flight model. Enter 0 to not display an arc for this speed. I'm just going to set those because why not? 8, 5. This is maximum allowable speed for first notch flap. That would be 105 or 110 even. I don't know. Flap stem. Indicate 110. And it's 85, yes. Uh, 129. That's 163. MMO Mac. This is the Mac. Oh, this is the maximum allowable Mach number applicable to turbine main only. These numbers are for airspeed. Blah blah blah. Okay, and this is the maximum allowable positive G load. Normal category 3.8, utility category 3.4.4. These are limit loads, as the handbook typically lists, but the ultimate actual failure loads are 50% higher. These are limit loads, as the handbook typically lists, but the ultimate actual failure loads are 50% higher. Yes. But now the question is, well, again, a positive G load more than 50% above which you will suffer catastrophic airframe failure. This is the maximum allowable positive G load, more than 50% above which you will suffer catastrophic. Yeah, okay. Normal category. Okay. Can we find that stuff here? I guess so. G load, is that a thing that you can search for? I'm actually not sure. What's your your flight criteria load limits? G flaps up, yeah. So the most, I guess, is 3 point, and this is utility. Yeah, and what do we need to set? Normal category and utility, yes. Well, I'm gonna set the can we be smart about this? Yeah, so the design load factors are 150% above. And in all cases the structure meets or yeah. Yeah, these are the limits. This is the maximum allowable positive G load, more than 50% above which you will suffer catastrophic. Yeah, so that suggests to me that X-Plane knows that 50% above this number is gonna also These are limit loads as the handbook typically lists, but the ultimate loads are 50% higher. Yes. So explain then interprets this as 50% higher. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but it depends on which category you are, obviously. Yeah, we cannot specify it based on category. So thinking in terms of education, student pilot style, I would suggest to let's pick the lowest. So the normal category. 3.8. And the other one is minus. Yeah, it's interesting that the minus is much more sensitive. Oh, can I? Yeah, one, but it's in minus. Yeah, 1.5. 2. Okay. Can I save? Why doesn't it save? Oh, yeah, I know. Usually I get this warning by... I think it's a warning that I usually get when I save, but now usually the warning is about that I didn't set the speeds. But now that I've set the speeds, I don't see a warning, but I also have no feedback whether I saved the actual thing. That's a bit weird. Yes, okay, so I guess this is all just right. Viewport. Okay, so cockpit. Yeah, I don't quite know what this is. I guess it has to do... This is what type of cockpit your craft has. If you do not like any of the choices, you can make your own custom cockpit. See the aircraft included. Because for test flight purposes... I don't know if this is a preset 2D cockpit or so. We just have to reload, just have to load up the Cessna 172 soon to see if it also has a default already laid out instrument panel. If so, then perhaps I can also choose fighter or even airliner to get much more precise instruments to look at when we do our flight. Hey Jim, good to see you. Thank you for dropping by. Yeah, so this is the cockpit object and this is the viewpoint. So this is 000, and I guess in reference to our already existing reference over there. Does that matter? If our viewpoint is there, I mean, we won't see anything when we load up the cockpit with this current model because we don't have anything. So I'm thinking when we're turning or taxiing or stuff, whether this would be... I think it's safer to put it a little bit more in front. Let me see. Longitudinal. Does that change? Yes, it does. Well, in that case, let's just put the view right where I would expect it to be. Vertical, up. In my case, even a bit more. Perhaps even a bit backwards. Because I know that the strut is usually still in front of me. Yes, and now the lateral parts, because now we are in the middle. That seems about right. Yes. Yes. Okay. I don't care about that stuff. Head-up display we don't have. Side slip. Yaw string location. Yaw string location. I mean, side slip does ring a bell in my case when we side slip to get down, forward slip, but perhaps this is something entirely different. Side slip string X and Y. No, it's not mentioned even. Okay, wipers, blah, blah, blah. Screen centers. This is where on the windshield the horizon will be. Straight ahead with the nose level. This is how many pixels up from the bottom of the screen. 520 is recommended. It is also the HUD center location. We'll just keep it as is. I think that's okay. And if not, we will find out about it and then we can change it either way. Again, this is lights. I'm not going to worry about that now. Again, we don't have to set any of these dock ports. I mean, it would be fun though. I don't know if this actually relates to some keybind where we can just request a particular truck to come over. I mean, that sounds fun. This is how far behind the reference points. Yeah, the reference point may be any point on the aircraft, but you have to use the same reference point for all the data you enter on the aircraft. The nose of the aircraft typically reference point. Yes. Do we see anything here when we change it up? No. I will skip that. Bouncers. What are bouncers? I think I'm right to say that these are things that can bounce. 3D bouncer. PlaneMaker supports up to 14 bouncers. That makes sense. And this has to do with 3D objects. So in either case, this doesn't apply to us right now. Can move around the cockpit based on the aircraft's turning and acceleration. That's really cool. We need to think about stuff that we can actually add to the cockpit to do that. It might be interesting. At least it should be valuable though, not just fun stuff. But these might be maps, pet people, snacks. To use a bouncer, you add an object to the cockpit as usual as a miscellaneous object. Then, after telling PlaneMaker that you are using this bouncer, you can use a plugin to animate this object based on the bouncer's data refs. Yeah, so this is advanced stuff that I have to do later. To input this bouncer's feature in PlaneMaker, open the Systems dialog box from the standard menu there. Open the bouncer tab. For each bouncer you intend to use, check the box label has this bouncer. Check the bouncer can flow freely. Box if this is not tied down. Oh, this is really interesting. Yeah, so just to double check, this is in the viewpoint section where we can say how much it will bounce, if I understand it correctly. And with systems, I remember a checkbox that says has bouncers or something like that. Clearly, they are not here. I read it. Open the Systems dialog box from the standard menu. There, open the Bouncers tab. Has this bouncer. Oh, well, they were referring to Viewport. Okay, and then we got... Oh yeah, and then the second notch is bouncer can flow freely, so it's not tied down to that particular... Yeah, okay. One thing I don't get, though, how you then connect that to the actual object. But I guess when you add it in through miscellaneous objects... Shadow modes. Yeah, that's a bit weird. I would expect to see some kind of a checkbox here. Anyways, that's for later. Viewpoint sliders we don't need in our colors. Yeah, green. Yellow is red and green. Is that true? Red and green? I'm not sure. Our color. Yellow is at 110. Yeah, exactly. And red. Okay, yeah, but this, again, this is trivial. This is stuff only referring to the instrument. That's interesting. That means that we already completed the viewpoint, and we can start building our 2D cockpit. That's cool. Or perhaps it's 2D. Yeah, there it is. Cockpits, internal lights. Ah, right. Yeah, we also have 2D cockpit lights at the viewpoint, but I do not care a bit about that. I'd just like to go to the cockpit section, guys. Creating an instrument panel. Whoa, all right. Yes, and that also means with the viewpoint menu, I guess here that we do like to see show cockpit in 2D forward, show exterior aircraft structure and props. Side panel views, no. External views, I don't really care. And this is 2D no panel views. Set this to show the 3D cockpit object when the user is in the 2D. Yeah, eventually we're going to check this, I guess. Check this box, but for now, I'd just like to know that the cockpit is actually, the 2D cockpit is actually shown. I'm in love with this thing. Cannot wait to start with Blender. Cannot wait. Also, guys, I have bought myself, where is it? A tablet for texturing from all of the your very kind subscriptions and donations. Ordered it and it arrived today. Let me just get the box. It's nice. Well, the Wacom. Can I show it you? Yeah, let me see. I also have a bigger. Does this work? Yeah. Look at that. Haha. So with that tablet, I can be a little bit more precise with texturing. It's not that necessary, but I've been studying a lot of YouTube videos actually on doing texturing, and also with Substance Painter. And actually using a pen gives you potentially a much more natural feel, especially with dirt and scratches and stuff. So, thank you. Yes. So, 2D cockpit. Panel 2D. Okay, so this is 2D cockpit stuff. Okay, so what do I actually need? I mean, I think we can just draw in, pull in anything we like, I think. So for example, I'd like to have a trim. Let me first read the manual before I do anything weird here. Introduction to panel creation. With the aircraft turn open. Yes, this window is made up of a number of different sections, and here they are. Can't I just load up a default? Because import a panel from another aircraft. Yes. Aircraft, laminar. This one, does this work? I just loaded in, I guess. No, this seems mine. Double check. This is mine. All right, I think I'm not getting it. 2D import, I guess I need to dig a bit deeper. Or perhaps even the ordinary system doesn't have, the default system 172 doesn't have a 2D panel at all, which doesn't surprise me, because these are just ACF files, which are just the airplane files. For just a brief moment I thought perhaps that includes the 2D panel, but it doesn't. Okay. Different, and you can also save by pressing Ctrl S. Yes. Two groups of information may lie on the left and right. On the left, instrument list, which is combined with the preview, description, property panes, and on the right there's the hierarchy combined with the keyframes pane. These left and right free groups can be displayed or hidden by clicking the large instrument list and hierarchy buttons at the top of the screen respectively. Okay, creation of an instrument panel, proceed this way. First, find the instrument you're looking for in the instrument list and click on it. For instance, the General Aviation Altimeter, whose file name is Alt-GA, is selected. With an instrument selected, you can see what it will look like in the preview tab. That's this one. So if I would like to have clocks, chrono, generic, standard 6, that sounds good. Airspeed, exactly. Airspeed indicator, I guess ASI, or is it something else? Yeah, so I see the all kinds of different, and we can, yeah, so we can put in anything we like here, even though it's quite unrealistic, but just a 2D panel that serves our test flights. That's awesome. But this is just a PNG. I guess it also needs to work, right? Preview tab. Beneath this is the description tab, which details what the selected instrument does. Yeah, so let me just draw this a bit up. Can I do that? Or can I not do that? Ah, there it goes. Preview, angle of attack. The angle of attack is the angle at which the airflow meets the aircraft. Yes. So it just describes you what it's doing, and I guess it doesn't have a needle. It doesn't show a needle. But perhaps it will be loaded once we use it. This is actually perhaps even an... This is it, we can just draw it in. That's easy. Let me just put it there. And this is a round bug. Angle of attack is the angle of attack, yes. Use the knob to set up a reference mark. Remember that a stall is caused not just by flying too slowly, but by having a too large angle of attack. Yes, remember that. Okay, so I don't want this. I want this with the reference mark, with the bug. So how do I delete it then? Delete. Delete. Boom. That's nice. Install. Stall reference. This is also really nice. Can I also make it bigger? This is actually pretty cool. Why can I? Yeah, so just select. And it also has. It also snaps to. That's good. Having found the instrument you're looking for, click in the instrument list and drag it. Yeah. Doing so will cause the instrument to also be listed in the hierarchy pane. Oh yes, and I can lock it down, and I can, yeah. With an instrument in the panel, click on it to select it. Select an instrument in either layout. The hierarchy will cause it to be selected both. Yes, when an instrument has been added to the panel layout, it will appear in the hierarchy pane. Yes, you can select an instrument from, yeah. Status field, yes. When an instrument is selected in layout, properties will display the settings. Oh yeah, here they are. Knob number. If it's either on bus 1 or bus 2. Tool tip. Oh, interesting. So when you hover with your mouse over that instrument, you can also here set a particular... That's cool. Lighting, swapped default. I think default would be fine. Yes. To select multiple instruments in either the HIGHTLIGHTS or layer, just hold down the Shift key and select the desired instrument. To group instruments together in the HIGHTLIGHTS, select them and press the G key. Interesting. With a group created, you can also click and drag other instruments into the group in the HIGHTLIGHTS. So, for example, if I select them both and I say G, G. Oh, there's the group. Yeah, so I have a group in a group. Yeah. Can I also move those? Yes, I can. And then can I delete it? Yes. And then if I... Can I now... Now it's... Now they are connected, I guess. Yeah. Okay. That's... this is really, really, really basic. And I like it. Use the... to zoom out. Okay. Good. To pan your view of the panel left or right, you can right click or hold the control key and left click on the panel and drag it. Alternatively, you can use the left, right, up. Okay. To nudge the panel each direction, shift arrow key. Okay. Alt key to duplicate. Drag. If two instruments are placed on top of one another in the pane, the instrument closest to the bottom of the list in the hierarchy will be displayed on top. Okay, finally, very bottom is a status bar. Here you can see the level of zoom. Okay, setting a background, I don't care. Generic custom, generic instruments are designed to give you more flexibility in creating here. If you do not want to make your own artwork or animation, you should use the hundreds of pre-made instruments. Yes, the generic instruments live in the generic folder. Well, hundreds. These are not really hundreds. A pointer. A radio frequency. But this is a... This is a bit weird because handle... I'm hoping that that's also integrated in these ones because I don't like to design anything here. I just like to drag in anything I... There are only 12 generic instruments. Each type represents a different mechanism. Needle versus handle. Yes, all of the properties available in the pre-made instruments are customizable in generic ones, as well as many. Remember, hovering the mouse over any field will show a description of what it does. I think I don't need that generic stuff then. All instruments reference a PNG image file. Yes, while there are default images that will use the PNG is blank, you should not use the default images. If you are going to use generic instruments, always provide your own artwork. The generic instruments are provided only to be placeholders so that you can see the new instrument in the editor in PlaneMaker before you pick your own instruments. These defaults may change in the future. Picking your panel, use your own images, which will not change. Yes. In our case, it doesn't matter. Images files should be contained within the generic subfolder of the cockpit folder. You can build subfolders within the generic folder. The cockpit folder goes in the aircraft folder. Yes. Helicopters and then cockpit generic. Click in the image field to pick new artwork. Click in the image field. Well, the layering convention applies to generic colors. Show the layers are used depending on instrument type. But if you're using 3D cockpit panel, then the cockpit 3D will be used as image source first. Yes. So I need to make a subfolder then, because if I save this now, it's part of what? Is it already part of... This is testing Blender stuff. And this is also not what I'm referring to actually. I need to go to the aircraft SP. Oh yeah, sorry, that was that folder. I was right, I guess. Why are these pictures in? Oh, because I guess PlaneMaker copies those background images, apparently. Either way, it doesn't create a folder automatically when I save a 2D panel, but still it is there now, isn't it? Yeah. So yes, I do have to make that folder. So I have to copy paste those images. That's a little bit of a bummer. So airplane, helicopters, yeah. So cockpit, generic. All generic instruments references a PNG file, while there are default images files that will be used if the PNG is blank. Oh, if you are going to use generic instruments, always provide your own artwork. Yes. So all in generic. So I perhaps even it does already work, and I don't need to make this folder at all. I should even remove it because it now just goes to the refers to the default images, but only if I want to have my own artwork I should do that. It's a bit hard for me to understand what's all generic instrument reference. Yes, so generic, we got all and we got generic. To all generic instruments. Yeah, so generics are designed to give you more flexibility. They are instruments on the 2D panel that are configured based on custom parameters, artwork, and data refs. Otherwise, I just use the basic. Well, we can just see. I mean, it's not that difficult. I'm just curious to see what's in the list, and I can just drag in some stuff that we need, and we load up the 172 just to see if we can actually load it up. I'm not going to test flight today, but if I have time left still, I am going to prepare for the test flight. So just to make a general idea of what we need to do to make the test flight work. And we can do that tomorrow. Yeah, this is all interesting stuff. Again, would be great if we could just import some 2D panel, but they are not shipped with X-Plane, I guess. Fuel pressure, warning. I just like to see the entire annunciator with everything on it, instead of all kinds of loose console. That sounds good. Or doesn't it do anything? Doesn't give me any description. Perhaps it doesn't do anything then. Rotor reverse, pitot heat, master warning, low vacuum, hydraulic, generator. I'm not trusting that one. It's a console, but I think it's just the console and it doesn't do anything. Burner flight, fuel pressure. But we also, I'd rather see a there's a warning only. I just have to use the gauges, I guess. No autopilot yet. Buttons, brakes. Well, that's where we can set our. Yes, we can set our joystick for that stuff. Clocks you don't need. Compass I don't need. The ice I don't need. AFIS. Ecam. Map. Interesting. Engine. Engine number. Battery amps per battery. This shows battery charge and discharge rate. That sounds good. And voltage. Cylinder head. Yeah, but I don't know what it's for. If I just drag this in, there's not Yeah, so this is important information, but perhaps I can use another instrument to do this. Engine round. Yeah, so this is number. That's what they mean. Digital and round. Yeah, so this is a... Yes. Amperage. The guy shows the amperage coming from the battery. Let's just do that. And I'd also like to see the voltage. Carburetor, air temperature. Oh, this is a combined one, I guess. Perfect. Fuel flow. Fuel pressure. Amperage, everything coming from the generators. That's good too. Manifold pressure. Oil pressure. Oil quantity, I don't care. Oil temperature. Oh, this is a combined one. That's better. So that one goes away. Engine. This is actually the percent of maximum thrust being put out of a jet engine. Current engine power output in percentage. Well, we're just gonna add a throttle. RPM. Engine RPM. This is the speed at which the engine is turning. Engine and proper RPM will be different if there is a gearbox. Or yes, exactly. So we don't have such a thing. Torque. I think we don't need that. Vacuum. Let's show that as well. Engine. Round and digital. Oh, that's good too. So then we have a needle and a number. Oh, that's even better actually. That might even be better. I don't know. We're not going to reference these numbers, but why not? CG, yeah, so that's one. Remove. Oh, yes. And the same goes for oil temperature. Do we also have a? No, we don't. We do have manifold pressure. So go away. Yes. Well, we just use the prop. Okay, this is for multi that we don't have. Engine supplement, oil pressure, battery volts, amps, hydraulic quantity. No. Engine tapes. Ah. Yeah. Same thing, I guess. Flaps. Transit, light up, down. Yeah, this is good. Round, full. Interesting. Yeah. Fuel. Fuel quantity, that's not bad. Do we also have different? Digital, all the total fuel available on all tanks combined. Multiple fuel gauges. How does that work then? Fuel gauge. You may have multiple fuel gauges if you have multiple fuel tanks. Yes, but do we need to put in two then, or we may have multiple fuel gauges? Well, in terms of our fuel, but we also have fuel flow here. So I'm not really that interested in how many fuel we have on board, I guess. No, I guess not. generic. Yeah, that's this stuff. Okay, so we're gonna ignore that. Handles, exactly. Engine left, engine right. Carburetor heat, alternate static port selector. Collective cowl. This is interesting. Wing instance. Oh wow, yeah, you can also make that customizable. So the instant, the wing twist. Or actually not really the wing twist. You can actually change the entire wing. That's interesting. Mixture, linear. I must be able to stretch this out, but primer. Prop. Retract, speed brakes. Do you also have just main power in terms of handles? Dihedral. Let me see. Prop linear. Prop RPM. This number is set to desired operation RPM of a variable pitch from. Yeah, so we don't have that one. Throttle linear. Okay, so throttle and mixture we have. HUD. Hot air speeds. Interesting. iOS. iOS only, yeah, only for the iPad. Nav displays, I don't care. Pressurization, I think I don't care. Radios, I don't care. Navcom, I'm only interested in avionics turning things on or off, I guess. What's this? These are different fuses and knobs. Okay, standard 6, yes. Airspeed, we also have just an ordinary airspeed indicator. Indicated airspeed indicator, here you go. It's reading from air pressure in the pitot tube, yes. And it also gives us a number. And this is... It represents the planar effectiveness, and, and also is a digital. Let's go with this one then. And we also need to, I guess, group these different thingies. And again, I'm not here to make it aesthetically look beautiful. This is just for the test flight. So it makes sense. This is actually quite fun just to work with, actually. How do I make a group? Oh yeah, with G I make a group. So click G. Yeah, now I now have a group in a group. That's not pretty. No, I cannot. Well, can I get that thing out? Well, okay. So it is. Can I? Yeah, new group. Airspeed. Everything that has to do with airspeed, and they are locked now. Yes, and we have electric, I guess. So amps, voltage, generator. That's it. G. And we call that electric load. And then we have just engine, I guess. Fuel flow, fuel pressure. Don't know if that's even that helpful. Oil. Let's use vacuum as well. Manifold pressure. Let's get this group in. Engine. Okay. Then we're gonna change some things up here. First. Hello? Oh, I can already move those, yeah. Yeah, I don't really mind, to be honest. How this should be... So this is actually the angle of attack. Do we also have a more digital one? Because... Yeah, that one is airspeed indicator. This is the Q, yeah, but this is a little bit rough. Angle of attack is the... This thing looks good. I'm not sure what we need actually, but let's remove that one. Still margin warning slow. Yeah, this is relevant. Perhaps this instrument also will give us some warning things. But I also like to know the particular angle, and I don't know if this also reads out. Remember that a stall is called angle of attack, angle of attack flow, yes. How does it do it? Is it just a bar that goes up and down? I think I'm gonna turn it around. Yeah, so here we can see that angle of attack. Okay, that's how we're gonna do it. Here. Close up. Okay. And this should be back into airspeed, and this one, oh, should be. Can I just put those into a group, or doesn't that work? And this one, 2. Yeah, that does work. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so then the electric load. Click first. Okay, this is the battery. I'd rather turn it the other way around. So first, how much does the engine generate in terms of power? Then it goes to the battery. This defaults of the engine volts. Amp of the battery, amp of the generator, and I guess we only have battery volts. Let me just double check. That's from fuel, flaps, oil temp. Power engine. battery. Battery. Yes, those are the only two. Engine pressure. This is the ratio of air pressure between the intake and the exhaust. No. No, this is good. Okay. Good enough. That was for electric loads. Yes. Yeah. Fuel pressure doesn't seem that relevant though. Anyways, fuel flow. Let's also put in, while we're at it, fuel quantity. Why not? Rounds, and just do it for all. So combining both tanks, I don't really care per tank. We're just gonna fly on both tanks. And I also like to switch these around. Okay. Yeah, that's actually just fuel, right? Fuel. And then oil. Temperature and pressure combined, that's cool. Yeah, why not? Combine it here. Docked close together. Vacuum. Manifold pressure. These are slightly overlapping, and I'm not sure whether that is actually allowed here in PlaneMaker. Well, we're gonna see. Either way, this, and this one, we're gonna group as well. And we're gonna group those as engine. Good. What are these then? Oh yeah, obviously. So we got the prop. So flaps go all the way over there. We got a mixture. We got a throttle. And we got a RPM. That's just fine. Yeah. I mean, I'm grouping them. I don't know why I'm grouping those. But I will, just for keeping things tidy. Geriatric. Good to see you. Hello. Yeah. Levers. Doesn't really matter. Again, this is not going to be the actual cockpit. It's just, this is just for the test flight, which is actually quite cool to do, to be honest. Also reminds me of the old days flying with 2D panels. It's fun. How did your Cessna body turn out? It turns out great. So the body I actually finished already a couple of streams ago. I was mainly busy with the electrical systems and weight and balance and all kinds of other stuff behind the scenes, behind the body of the Skyhawk. But I finished all of that stuff. So now it's just making the 2D panel, and then I can do my first test flight just with the PlaneMaker model. So it's very ugly looking, but it's the model that X-Plane is going to look at when we are flying. And once we have completed those test flights and also revisiting a lot of the other settings in PlaneMaker and also looked at Airfoil Maker and stuff, then we're gonna go over to Blender, and I cannot wait to start with that. Yeah, I've been away with work for a few days. Roger that. Roger that. Hope your work turned out well. Let's continue. Standard 6. So airspeed, we have altimeters. Yeah, let's make it as fancy as we can be, right? Oh, you can also, yeah, well. AIS combo. When we're going to do our flights, we're also going to set in all kinds of data reps, because I know that Rush also set out I should not look at indicated airspeed but calibrated airspeed, because also the pitot tube, the actual mechanical components of the aircraft also have an error in them, a measurement error. And well, through the advantages of flight simming, you can just calculate get the actual real speed aside from all of the measurement error. And I think, but I'm not sure, it's actually a good one, that I don't know actually, that's actually weird. I remember him saying that, but at the same time though, it's a bit weird because the speeds, the reference speeds in the manuals are indicated airspeed, which makes sense because that's what the pilot is looking at. For example, with the stall speed, that's indicated airspeed under standard conditions and stuff. So it makes sense to just look at the indicated airspeed and not the calibrated airspeed. But again, testing an airplane is also an art form on its own. So yeah, that's not going to be just a one-stream thing. Artificial horizons. Give me an electronic, very highly detailed, even though it's so not appropriate for a Skyhawk. Artificial horizon, gyro driven. HMGA. Let's just use GA. Just for references. Looking like the space shuttle here. My gosh. Yeah. World? Ooh, wow. Directional gyro, that's, I'm not interested in that. HSI, I'm also not interested in that, am I? Well, I might. I just might. Whoa. Wow. Well, let's keep it in. Although, oh, that's interesting. I hit escape while I did that. Also save here. I mean, I said in the systems, I said that we had a vacuum driven gyro, and these instruments obviously are electronic and slave to the compass. So even though it would be fun to use this instrument in our Skyhawk's 2D panel, perhaps it doesn't work because of that reason. So can you also just see a preview? Oh, I deselected it. That makes... Well, let's just put it in. And it's now part of nothing. What are these? Battery faults, but these are part of electric load. They should be part of electric load. Engine battery. Okay. Away. Engine. Don't know how they got there. Yeah, and these are going to be part of primary instruments. Yes. Turn slip. Yeah, just give me that one. Weird layout. It is. Anyways, and vertical speed. Absolutely. Rate of climb indicator. Oh, there's a knob here. Ah, okay. The small indicator shows your autopilot vertical speed setting. Yeah, I don't mind. Okay. And that's it, indeed. Okay, save. This one, this one, this one. Oh, we got airspeed. Yeah. Out. So this one, 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 and that one. G. Are part of primary instruments. And save. Supplement. Atmosphere temperature, yes. Yeah, that's important. Because we're going to fly according to the performance tables. And I'd like to just... And again, we can also bring these up through data refs, I guess. Which might be even better. I don't know. Suction, yes. Outside temperature and pressure, total energy, audio. The switch turns on the audio output from the total energy variator. No. Okay, so yes. And very tiny stuff. Yes. CG indicators indicates the relative location of your center of gravity. Remember that a CG that is too far aft can cause the aircraft to become unstable. That's interesting. But we don't need it. Everything is interesting. Aileron deflection indicator. This gauge indicates the position of your ailerons. Interesting. Elevators. So we put that where we should expect the yoke. And the rudders. Let's put that at the bottom where our feet are. Put those on top. G-load, I Don't care. Oxygen. Side slip. Side slip is used as VTOL to watch what your side slip. Stall indicator. We're gonna put that in. With the angle of attack. Storm scope. Ooh. Suction. But that's same as vacuum, doesn't it? I don't know for sure, so I'm gonna put it in. Sync we don't need, tail number we don't need. Thermo. Outside temperature, this instrument will be affected by aerodynamic heating due to the aircraft speed. Yeah, that's not what we want. And again, that's why I don't completely fully trust all of these instruments, because perhaps these readouts go through some kind of X-plane mechanical measurement algorithm, and so they differ from the data ref speed stuff that we can bring up by checking on those checkboxes in the X-plane developers menu. So perhaps this stuff is actually not good that I'm doing here in the 2D panel. I should just fly with the 2D with the data refs on, but yeah. Water, wiper left, no. Trim. Trim indicator. We also have some kind of a, no. Okay, so this is the aileron trim. And this is the elevator trim indicator pointer, shows you the current aileron trim setting. Adjust this wheel to maintain level flight. You need to readjust aileron trim on your airspeed or engine. Yes, but I'd like to see the actual setting of it. So that's aileron, elevator, trim, and rudder trim. Weapons? Do we need weapons? Fire rate. That's it. Yeah, so I really crammed up this stuff. And we still have a lot of space left. Yeah, that doesn't really matter, I guess. Yeah, so made this thing. I'm actually quite curious to see what would happen if we load this baby up. So just double check. Yes, it's still there, and these are default images, so I guess when we start it up it might still be there. I have no idea, first time ever. Viewpoint 2D forward, no penalty. Yes, I'd just like to see this 2D panel at all times. Show exterior aircraft and structure prop, yes. Well, no, actually. Show exterior aircraft structure and props into the, no. Show cockpit into the, yes. No, only in external views. I don't like to see the external because it's one big giant block of grayness, this thing. But it's accurate, guys. It's more, at least based on the numbers, at least, and the manuals, this Skyhawk that we set here is more accurate in terms of numbers than the Laminar or Airflow Labs airplane, which is not the goal of this entire project, but it's nice to know that we're taking care of this little baby. Okay, so one last run through everything. Authors, I don't care. General aviation, manufacturer, design studio, notes, no. Standards, viewpoints, one last run. We set all of this. Airspeed indicator shows autopilot airspeed setting, no. Metric dimensions, no, don't care. Cockpit. Pad, will this be a free plane? Yes, it will be. Yes, the only thing that I'm thinking of, though, it's going to be free either way, and I'm going to make a separate website for it with all documentation and source files and stuff. So as just to exhibit projects for PlaneMaker, and hopefully inspiring some of you to also start to tinker with PlaneMaker, because it's fun and you learn a lot about aerodynamics and your favorite airplane and stuff. But one thing that I would also like to do before I actually publicly release the Skyhawk, I'd like to also have in a lot of interactions and much more advanced, sophisticated flight model behavior for the Skyhawk, like SimCoders is providing. Now, I initially thought I'm going to hook up the reality extension pack to my Skyhawk, or I'm going to ask SimCoders to perhaps make an adapted version of the reality extension pack of the 172 for the default Laminar 172 for ours. But then I thought, yeah, but if they do that, then the actual model of the 172 is free, but not the more sophisticated flight model. And so then I thought, well, perhaps this is too much to take on. How difficult would it be to create my own reality extension pack on my own level, I guess? Because I'm also quite curious to see how SimCode is actually doing that. And if I do that, so I also need to know how to program in Python. I don't know if that's really, really difficult. Anyways, then I can really provide a completely free package of a Skyhawk that's interactive with everything in it, including some of the neat stuff that SimCoders are doing as well. But I'm not sure about that. I also just love to collaborate, and I really love the work that SimCoders is doing. So I don't know, but that's in a future time. First, let's build the thing. Cockpits. Interior lights. No, no, no. Boundaries we don't need. Slides we don't need. That is set. Limits. Yeah, so this is for instruments. I don't think that this is necessary, because this is also only for the default instruments that we just put into the 2D cockpit. So that's good. Panel, that's what we just did. I'm very curious to see if that's actually going to work. Panel 3D, yeah, that's not for us today, because I still need to make one in another external 3D modeling application. Engine specs. Critical altitude 0 is sea level, that's good. Oh yeah, high idle fuel adjustment and stuff. I don't know, never found anything about that. And again, this is something that I guess I need to set based off of my test flight to look at my fuel flow and stuff. So this is not set, but I can only set through test flying the thing. 2700 top of green arc. Minimum, yes, governor we don't have. Ratios, we don't have jet engine or rockets. Injected, reciprocal engine, yeah. Man, we did some searching. Design airspeed, roger, it's all good. No transmissions. Engine start fuel intertime, I have no idea. Did I mention it here in my backlog? Engine high idle. No, I did not. Engines. Well, yeah. Spool up, boost, tab, and then compressor. Yeah, so engine start fuel intro time, among others. No numbers found on that front. Okay. Starter is electric. Startable output. Hitting starter engine engages. This will turn on fuel to the engine when the starter is hit, as is done in some jets. I think this should be hitting starter engages the ignition. The ignition is used for reciprocal planes only. These are the magnetos. For jets, yes, this should be on. Igniters, yes. Engage igniter will lit the fire in any turbine engine, and armed igniter will also engage for jets. Hitting start engages igniters. Engage igniter will lit the fire in any turbine engine. Well, oh, my starter switch. 2D. Do we have a starter switch? Buttons, perhaps? Lights. Avionics. I forgot about a lot of stuff. Batteries. Battery switch. Yeah. Silly me. What? Yeah, brakes we're gonna just assign emergency flap, hydraulic pump, trim reset, yaw damper no. I mean, I guess we could also auto start. I don't know if that's... Clocks. Do we need a clock? Well, why not? And a compass I don't need. DI speedo heats. I mean, we said all of that stuff. In terms of power drainage, but we can check. Engine number. Yeah, this is all squared stuff. Is it engine tapes then? I don't know what that means. Where do I find the starter? Command slider. And these are just generic custom thingies. Handles. Mixture. Primer. Manual prime cycle this a few times to prime the engine prior to starting. Well, let's just... put it there. Even though that's not modeled, I think. It should drain the battery. Prop we don't have. Retract brakes. No. Radios, rheostats, flood, instrument brightness. That's actually interesting. Also for drain. Floodlights as well. To see if we see a charge going. Barrow I don't need. OBS. Yeah, the directional gyro. Let's do that. Let's remove this one. Direction is going to function as a combat reads correctly during turns. Use the left knob. Yeah, that's the one that I need. Primary. Oh, I didn't move those in. Okay. I guess. Why do I only see 2 selected? Why selected 4 there? Primary instruments. Ah, there's a new group. That's ridiculous. And this one can be removed. Again. This one, this one, this one, this one. This one, this one, this one, this one. This one, and this one can be made part of, yeah, primary instruments. Does it, can it do that? Yes, it can. Remove. And then we have this one and this one. Temperature, and was it pressure, the other one? Barometric pressure. Why did I add that? Because I already know what that is. Temperature. Let's make that temperature and clock. Because what we could do is, that's part of the primary 6, I guess. Yeah, that's a bit weird. Let's put that there. And let's put barometric pressure away. Yes. Okay, and again, don't know why I'm putting this much horizontal glass. HSI, why is it still there? This one? Don't know. Yes, then we've got the controls. So this one. Jim, looking good. I'm really excited to see her fly. Yeah, me too. Just, well, we're not going to fly her today, but I am going to load her up in just a sec. So these are part of the yoke. What did I just do? Engine, levers, fuel. Oh, there they are. Can I also just move the entire group? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so we'll call that flight controls. And then we have switches. Huh? Again, I think this just disappeared in here. Yeah, it's a little bit annoying. Switches. That's what I meant, really. One day. Yeah. I'm also excited, Jim. Am I outside of the group? No, I wasn't. And we got suction. Yeah, let's put that with the engine. Okay. Okay, nice and tidy. But I added some, yeah, but where's the starter? That's still, How do I start the thing if I don't have a starter? I mean, we could also just use a keybind for that, but... Hey Toto, how's the cockpit coming along? You're gonna go with a 2D pin or for now? Yes, I guess Toto, I just need a few instruments. I mean, I can bring up some data refs while I'm flying, but I thought it might be handy though if I just make a 2D panel, because I'm also just curious to see how that works. And I will just soon load up the 172 to see if this actually works, this 2D thing, automatically, I don't know. And then I need to think a little bit more in depth about my test flights and what I need to do and what kind of information I actually need to pull out from X-Plane in order to do proper performance evaluations, I guess. But I also like to see a starter switch, which I cannot really find here, which is a little bit annoying. But there are workarounds, obviously. Perhaps also auto start or something like that. But it surprises me that there's no such thing here. Trim your weapons. Well, I guess not. Didn't found it though. And autopilot, I'm not really that interested in right now. These are just annunciator messages. Yeah, with buttons perhaps, that seems obvious that there should be something in here that has to do with the magnetos, but ah, there's a fuel pump. Switches. Under engine subsection. Oh. Huh? Oh, thank you, Jim. I was not looking. It should be here. Generator on igniter. Yes. When I see engine, I don't see that it's actually as a subfolder. Ding dong. Thank you. Igniter, magneto. Right magneto on off. But isn't there just a rotation thingy? Boost, emitter volts. Fire extinguisher. Generator. This switch connects the generator to the plane's electrical system. No. Governor. No. Idle. Igniter. Engine igniter. Switch turns on the turbine. No. Yeah, left magneto on. Right magneto on. But this is a bit weird. Hey, SN. Good to see you as well. Jim, you're welcome. Now that's my kind of I am already following you, Jim, aren't I? I should be following you. I can't remember when I dropped on your stream a while ago when you were flying. What were you flying? Was it the 171? No, you were flying some Warbird, I believe, in P3D. I'm not sure. But this is not the button that I need, I guess. Left magneto on or right magneto on. You can just bring them here. Where's just the ordinary crossfeed? Also not interested in that starter. Cook. Ignition switch. Starter, this one I mean. And that seems good to me. away. So battery things on, avionics off, pitot heat fuel, cabin lights. Yes. Lights. Well, let's just put those, yeah, the landing lights. Let's put that one in as well. Again, we are obviously going to test the strobe lights and taxi lights, but I'm going to do that. Oh, that's something that I didn't set still. That I can still do. What's the time? Yeah, I should actually already stop streaming. But I'm going to set those lights, which is quite fun ending task. But obviously, once we've got the 3D model, then we can really position the lights properly. And what about the Piper Comanche these days? Ah, roger that. 747 all the way, guys. 172, guys. 172 SP. Old school slant alpha, no autopilot. Can you land an airplane? Fly 172. Do you call yourself a pilot? Fly 172. Let me see. So yes, so can we now fly? We've got flaps, we got a throttle mixture, we got a starter, avionics, battery, we got pitot heat, fuel pump, landing lights. That's just to see if we got a good discharge on the battery. We got some basic instruments here, but obviously we can also use some data refs and other stuff. And we got plenty of room here to do other things. We got RPM, fuel flow, fuel pressure. Don't know why we need fuel pressure actually, but just curious to see what happens. This is it. Am I forgetting anything? Let me just bring up a 172 cockpit. Yeah, this is a 182. Cylinder head we also have, don't we? Yes. Yeah, radio, comm radios I don't care about. GPS I don't care about. Flaps we have. Strobe lights and stuff I don't care about. Oil pressure we have. Yes, combined with temperature. Yes, we got it all. Perfect. So then last thing, and that is again viewpoint, and that's exterior lights, which we could already add. Landing lights. So there it is. Where's the landing light? I think something like there. So let's just move it up. Heading and pitch offsets, yeah, that's something that we cannot do, and we should check later on. Lateral, it's a bit too much. It goes, this is lateral, this goes up. That's too much up. Something like this, 250. It should go the other way around. Something like there, and a bit up. Again, 172 SP front. Ooh, pretty picture. Pretty picture. Is it that far away? Is this digitalized? That seems odd to me, especially because there's also another picture over there. I don't trust this picture. Yeah, this one was just in an angle. I just like to see a regular just nose. This one, for example. Yeah, so just a little bit behind the strut. Again, we're gonna fix that. Once we have our 3D model in the middle of that block. Nice. Next one, add taxi lights. Should be quite the same. Oh, 6. 9, 6, 2, 6, 7. Good. And again, we can set all kinds of colors and how wide the light is, and that's something that we can mess around with later. The landing light is on what side? I don't know. Taxi light. And air for labs, I don't trust. Taxi light. Which one is which one? Yes, I know, but taxi landing lights. Yeah, what's the difference? Whoever makes a picture of that. No one. Well, in the dark we cannot really see it, I guess. Taxi. Night. Dark. Ramp. Yeah. Yeah, this is impossible to do. But I do like to know. References, manuals, maintenance manual. On which side is the taxi light? I don't know. Lights. This is a, yeah. Why doesn't it just search on the word itself? If I put in quotes, it doesn't understand at all what I'm doing, I think. Well, it does. High intensity. I just want to see I want pictures. Can you show us a picture, please? Yes, something like this. Yes. Taxi lights outside. Ha. Why we don't know, but it's outside. Okay. Yeah, then I'm already. No, I'm not. Taxi lights outside view. I think it's a little bit too far off actually. Let's put it over here. And let's put this one a bit further. And also just a tiny bit up. Who cares? Good. Then a nav light. And this is nav. Yeah, but what's left? I guess it's based off of the reference of the pilot, right? So let's make it -6-ish. This should also be. It should be much farther towards us, and it should be quite close to 6. Where are we? Yeah, and then even further. Something like this. And yeah, this whole structure, perhaps we're going to even remove this little, because we're going to model this in 3D and it doesn't really do that much perhaps with the in X-Plane flying the thing. How far is it on the wing? No, it's too much at the edge. That's because we have a sweep on our wings. So longitudinally, it should go somewhere around there. Yes. Then we can just do a very simple trick, because longitudinally this will also be 4, 4, 4. But then this should be +17. And this should again be 2.9er. Oh. Okay, and that should be number right. We also got a strobe. Anti-collision strobe and strobing beacon. I think the anti-collision things are actually at the far end. So that's an anti-collision strobe. This is longitudinal. Yeah, let's copy that one. 4, 1, 7, 7, 2, yeah, 9. Let's make it a bit bigger. It's on the other side, I think, of the wing. Yeah, there it is. And it should be behind it. So that's a longitudinal, a bit less. Yes, something like that. Okay, we can do the same thing here, anti-collision. But longitudinally the same, -3, 7. Then here 7, and again the same number. By the way, the dihedral is a bit different, yeah, from wing to wing. But yeah, it's tiny. Again, we need to readjust this soon. Or soon when we have the actual 3D model made in Blender. The fancy one. Then we have... Yes. Nav on the tail. Longitudinally, that's going to be a plus. Yeah, there it goes. To the back. That's near perfect. Like so. It should go up. It's a bit too much. Just on the tip there, is it? It's there. It's not here. It's... Yes, that's true. And that makes this model just a little bit off. No, that's not what I wanted. Or is it? It is what I wanted. But then it should go a little bit up. Yeah, again, we need to readjust this based off of the fancy model. Yeah, and it should be just center, but we know that the vertical stabilizer is not exactly center. So that's lateral. That's too much. Bit less. Yeah, and then we can add a rotating beacon. 1, 4, and a bit less. Let's make it also 6, and also 6, 2. Yeah, there it is, and that one is a little bit more. I think it's over there. Again, you become so conscious of the Skyhawk. Where's the beacon exactly? Hello, Pretzel. 172 SP tail. And that's really fun through this project. How conscious you become of all the components. Yeah, it's in the front. Yeah, perhaps even a little bit higher because it's a huge thing. Again, we're going to make that fit just perfectly based off of our 3D model beacon thing. Yes. Don't we have a strobe? What's the strobing light? A strobing beacon, I mean. Anti-collision strobe is at the far end of the wings. Do we also have one on the belly? Position lights, strobe lights. I guess we don't have one. Position, beacon. Two navs, strobe at the end, bloop, bloop, bloop. What were you wondering about strobing beacons? The Skyhawk only has one beacon. Yes, Toto, I thought so. Well, I only see a... thank you for dropping in, by the way. Here in this menu, I see also strobing beacon, which I haven't used so far, and so I thought, do we need to use that? but I guess not. Just a rotating beacon, nav tail, 2 anti-collision strobe lights at the at the wingtips, nav left, nav right, taxi and landing. I think that's it. Our Skyhawk. Let's continue. Engine spec systems. General. Vacuum. Yeah, this is all autopilot stuff. We all set. Stall warn alpha. I put in my stall warn alpha. Well, cannot really see it this quickly. Stall. Oh, next line. The stall horn. Angle of attack, also part of our test flight. Hydraulics we don't have. Electrical, again, 2 buses. All of this stuff we set. Bus 1, bus 2, according to the tables, luckily. Overheads. Good. Limits we also set. And warning sounds we don't care of. So both strobing and rotating beacons do the same, provide a red blinking anti-collision light, they just do it different. The rotating beacon has a rotating mirror element around the light to generate the blinking effect when the mirror is pointed at you. And the strobing beacon uses an omnidirectional bulb that momentarily flashes. Roger that, Toto. Very clear explanation, thanks. Yes. Yes, but we have a rotating beacon. Yeah. Okay, yeah, systems we checked. Well, wings we made. We did miscellaneous wings because we knew they were not symmetrical, at least laterally. So in terms of dihedral and stuff, which makes our model not able to do wing flex stuff, which in the 172 is negligible, I guess. So miscellaneous wings, here we have it. Flaps, all of that stuff is good. Level of incidence, angle of incidence is 2. Much more precise, so that's awesome. Let me see. Yes, exactly. So that's the mirror and it's turning. Yeah, exactly, Toto. Yeah. This is just on, off, and this one is turning around. Roger. Doesn't have a wing static, that's flashy, yes. Yes. Wings, miscellaneous wings, flaps, incidences, yes. Pylons we don't have. Connecting engines to the fuselage. The fuselage itself was perfect. Drag coefficients we all did. Top, bottom, back, based off of the references, that's good. Again, we're gonna make it much more fancy. The polygon is gonna be much more high res in Blender soon. Miscellaneous bodies. That's the exhaust pipe. So the difference between a body and an object is with objects, they don't count in the aerodynamic rendering in X-Plane. So that's where we're gonna put our visual model of the Skyhawk on top of this one, so we can see it, but it's not included in the calculations, the aerodynamic calculation X-Plane. The bodies, well, we played around a bit and we thought, well, the exhaust pipe is kind of significant, not that much, so we added it to our frame. It might be during the test flight, it is actually more of a nuisance, and we need to remove it anyways, but again, that's what we did. Engine nacelles, that's the spinner, also based off of the actual measurements. Really cool to see how much work went in so far. Wheel fairings, also based off of all kinds of eBay pictures and stuff. It's quite detailed. Control geometry, controls aileron and stuff. Oh yeah, the flap extend and retract time. So based off a video that I made at my 172 in the local airport, well, not mine, but I visited my local airports to ask the instructor to extend and retract the flaps. 7 seconds to extend. And 9 to retract. Interestingly. that's all done. Yeah, in terms of elevator trim. That's also something that I should do. Control forces. Flaps. Well, I just put it here. Again, this is something that I need to structure, those test flights, what we need to do and look at and revisit PlaneMaker. So this is control geometry, trim and speed, elevator trim. Yeah, we got the angles. Those are right, but not the deflection time. And I do have a video for that as well. An elevator trim tab adjustment. And takeoff trim, I don't care. Yes. Control deflection rates. It's actually the same. Minimum. Yeah, this is the same. Minimum control. Oh, no, should be 0. Yeah, we got instant. We don't have an hydraulic system in between us and the yoke and the actual control surfaces. It's wired, so it's direct. So that's why it's 0 in our airplane. Phase out. I think we don't need that in control forces. Spring and damping force for... Oh, yes, spring and damping. I think I added that. Spring... Yes, that should be added here. No. Control geometry. So I guess then those numbers will explain how fast we are pitching up and turning, banking, yawing, how much force the control deflections actually, control surface deflections actually has, I think. Control geometry, control forces, spring and damping. I'm going to do a real test flight in a 172 sometime soon. So then I'm also going to make videos so we can reference the videos to what we see in our test flights and further optimize what we're doing. So it's going to be pretty cool. And I'm also going to ask a actual real world flight instructor of my local airport to come and visit my cockpit here and fly our Skyhawk, so we get some feedback of him getting an intuitive understanding of whether the thing flies kind of like a Skyhawk. So that's also going to be fun. Okay, good enough for our first test flight so far. Landing gear, tire radius, everything that we set, gear data, texture, water rudder, landing gear, friction. So those are basic. Friction coefficient, I added that to my backlog. No spring force, I think. Yeah, spring force also. I have no idea what that should be. I have to look. In explain. And weight and balance. Empty weights. Duration we set to default, or explain is going to calculate it for us. 2 tanks, good ratios. And these are just checks. Done. Done. Airfoils, obviously, we need to look at also in combination with. Have I added it? No. And airfoils with PlaneMaker. Special controls equipment. This is all stuff that we don't need. Done. Done, he said. My gosh, guys. There it is. Okay, so that means, double check. Viewpoints to the cockpit we did. We did this as well. Yeah, I need to structure these items to our first test flight we're going to do tomorrow, I think, or Sunday, I think tomorrow. So if you're interested in my test flight, be sure to drop in tomorrow, because then for the first time we're going to load up our 172 in X-Plane. And just ship it. No. And that's also a fun phase afterwards, after many months of developing. I can really not wait to start with that. And again, guys, thank you for your subscriptions and donations. I got myself a tablet in preparation, quite early actually, for all of the texturing with Substance Painter and stuff to really make all kinds of natural brushes, and it's really, really cool. I have been working with a tablet a long time ago, but it broke down, and so now I have a fancy one. So thanks for that. What did I say? So yeah, texturing. I'm also looking forward to making a nice product page, a nice website for the Skyhawk to download it. So really looking forward to that front as well. But still a lot of stuff to do. As you can see, 20%. Now we're moving into the test flight phase. And that's going to be interesting as well, and difficult, because again, when we're going to fly that thing, I mean, we can see whether the engine starts up. We can have a basic understanding of electrical loads and stuff. But once we're going to fly and we make a turn and it feels off, there are multiple variables that we could tweak in PlaneMaker. Where to start, how to systematically approach optimizing our model. And also more fundamentally, where Laminar is obviously saying, guys, do not tweak your aircraft model, your PlaneMaker model, to the simulator. Because we are continuously updating X-Plane. And so if you make weird kind of unrealistic adjustments in your plane, just to make it fly more realistic in X-Plane, then chances are with the next update, your plane is off. You need to do test flights regularly. But at the same time, though, I know that that's true, and we got the objective numbers right in. But if this thing currently doesn't fly as realistic or is really weird, then obviously I'm going to optimize the thing so that it subjectively flies like a Cessna Skyhawk 172 in X-Plane. So if that's the compromise, that we need to do test flights with every update of X-Plane, well, so be it. Lol, that's a bitty prick live from Laminar. They've agreed to start versioning the flight model, right? Yeah. So yeah, but one thing though that I do find important, we have found all the objective numbers that we could find in the last couple. Took about a month or so, even more, to come to this stage. And I don't like to. I do like to keep a reference of all the numbers that we just put in. So I guess I'm just going to screenshot every little tab here, so I know what the actual number should be, based off of the manuals and stuff. So we can always revert to those numbers, I guess. Yeah. Nice. And again, thank you guys. Also, Toto, in special thanks to you for guiding me through a couple of these complex stages of the development here in PlaneMaker. You know, I'm a noob on many technical fronts here, and I really appreciate you jumping in and helping me out. There's so much stuff that I just cannot find, or any also guidelines for us PlaneMaker noobs, beginners, to get through this program. So those tips are really, really valuable. Thanks. You will be mentioned somewhere in some manual or on the website finally when it's when the airplane is there. Okay, so that's that. Again, save, quit PlaneMaker. Tomorrow, guys, I think tomorrow I'm going to do my first test flight. I'm hoping that we don't run into any other first issues that we need to resolve before the thing can actually start up and we can taxi. I have no idea. So it might be an exciting first test flight. Either way, perhaps we do already succeed in taking off, and that's going to be really, really fun. So if you'd like to be part of that first experience, be sure to join in and encourage this whole aircraft development project, because it's actually just starting. The heart of the project, also in terms of learning curve, is also just to know how to 3D model, not just the airplane itself, but also animations, all kinds of other stuff. So it's going to be really, really fun. Thanks again for all of your support, guys. Can I hit this little Yes, I can hit this really little button and we go to our post-stream scene. So once again, guys, thank you for jumping in. Even if you're just jumping in just for a few seconds to say hello, really much appreciated. Again, tomorrow, keep a lookout for my Twitter, Discord. I will post the time when I'm gonna start streaming. I need to do some work in the morning though, so I guess around, what would it be? I think 1400 Zulu at the earliest. 1400 Zulu. And then I'm gonna do my stream. I cannot wait! Cannot wait! First test flights. Now guys, as always, thank you for jumping in. Happy with lights, blue skies. Hoping to see you all too.